Hey friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Friday Fart Bag Farting on Friday. We're gonna fart around on Friday while we're farting around on Friday. We're gonna do mailbag. I got a box from Rotor Riot here with some stuff in it. Or Rotor Rye, as Drew sometimes pronounces it. Has anybody else noticed that? Drew, like, a lot of times will say, like, Rotor Rye, and there's no T at the end, and I'm always left like, what? Why? Where'd the T go? Is it like a hardcore bread? Is that what's happening? Rotor Rye bread? Is that what's happening? Maybe they've, you know, maybe that's what the Red Cat involvement is. And we're going to attempt to finish the Walksnail HappyModel Mobula7 1S ELRS. HappyModel, name your products better. It's too long of a name. Too long. Hockey Rounds was first, and then Chatbot Bruce was next. Big whoop. Northern Tier, Douglas Otwell, Phonics, Gusto, Stevo, Morton Upshot. Chomper is in the house. What's up, Chomper? How are you, man? Sky Sailor, Brandon Woodford, Stevo, Lambo Drive, Zambo, Big whoop again. Stevo, Off Axis, McMucus. What's up, everybody? If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like that. If you don't do that, I'll just assume that you're talking amongst yourselves, and I will leave you alone, because I respect your privacy. CiottiFPV.com. Hey, today is June 16th. CiottiFPV.com is the best way that you can support me. Patreon certainly helps me out the most, and you get the most benefits. There's also Etsy, Fiverr, and Teespring, where you can buy stuff. If you want to do a super chat but you don't want 30% to go to YouTube, you can use this PayPal button, or you can use these affiliate links. These are free to use. If you're ordering something online, try to use someone's affiliate link so they can keep doing stuff that you can watch on YouTube. I have affiliate links to Weebleed, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emax, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. There you go. So I did a Rotor Riot order because they have some really cool stuff in stock, and they have stuff in stock, which is a big plus. Like, just finding an FPV store with things in stock at this point is kind of incredible. The other reason, though, that I did a Rotor Riot order is that so I won the micro competition, edit competition at Rampage, and one of the things that you win is a year subscription to Quad Crew. And it's a physical thing that you do, and they send you a sweatshirt and some other stuff that we'll look at in a minute. But yeah, anybody can do a Quad Crew membership, and there's a bunch of stuff. So you get a zip-up hoodie. I got it in small, and I gave it to Azalea, because I don't really wear zip-up hoodies anymore. We'll see that in a minute. This is a coaster, lanyard, sticker, but then check this out. $100 off coupons, good for 5-inch built and tuned drones, one single coupon per month for 12 months. That's kind of crazy. The Quad Crew membership is $150, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's $150. This is potentially $1,200 in coupons. That's kind of dope. I mean, you're probably not gonna buy a bind and fly from Rotor Riot every single month, but if for some reason you are, Christ, this is pretty amazing. Then there's also 20% off coupons for hype train motors, fuel cell batteries. I've not had luck with those batteries. I would stay away from them. Rotor Riot frames, props, and Rotor Riot branded merchandise. One single use coupon per month for 12 months. So 20% off a month on a whole bunch of stuff. Hype train motors are really good. They used to be made by T-Motor. They're really good. 15% off store-wide coupons, which excludes DJI, CADX, TBS, Fat Shark, Rotor Riot event tickets, and sale items. One coupon per month for 12 months. And then, yeah, so those are the different, like, discount things that you get with Quad Crew. Pretty cool stuff. Access to private virtual events with Rotor Riot pilots via video conferencing and liftoff. Virtual events take place in members-only area Drone Nation, occur at least once per quarter. Invitation to Quad Crew only flash sales. That's interesting. I'll let you know if I get any emails about those. And then discounts or special VIP swag at in-person events, Quads and Coffee, Quad Camp, Rampage. Quad Camp. They have Quad Camp in here. I guess they're going to do another Quad Camp. That's pretty cool. Coupons are issued on the 1st of every month and expire the last day of each month. Coupons are not transferred and not carry over, blah, 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 blah. Here are your first set of single-use coupons you should have already received via email. So, yeah. Pretty cool stuff, man. Quad Crew. $150 is a little steep initially, although you know, the hoodie is, that's like a $40 hoodie. And then some of this other stuff is like another 10, 20 bucks. I think the big thing is going to be for those coupons. If you're doing frequent orders on Rotor Riot's website, or if there are like 1 or 2 bind and flies on Rotor Riot's website that you're interested in, yeah. They have to be 5-inch though. $100 off coupons good for 5-inch built and tuned drones. But then also the 20% off for Hype Train motors, Skip the Batteries, Rotor Riot frames, props, and branded merchandise. That's pretty dope. 20% off per month, every month. You could easily make your 150 bucks back by doing that. And then this 15% off store-wide with a bunch of exclusions. Yeah, I don't know how you would use that, but Quad Crew, yo, check it out. If you find yourself doing orders on Rotor Riot's website all the time, it could pay for itself. So yeah, that's pretty rad. So I got some other stuff while I was doing it, because I was gonna get free shipping, so I said, what the hell. So the Quad Crew comes with this teal lanyard, which is really, really nice. This lanyard reminds me almost exactly of the Newbie Drone lanyard. I think it might be the same company that makes the Newbie Drone lanyard. It's this nice, really soft kind of material. This, since I already have my lanyards all situated, this is going to go in with the bag of lanyards that you win by joining the Patreon. On the $5 or up tiers. So if you're on the $3 a month tier and you have $2 more a month to spare, you can potentially win that lanyard. Basically, I do 4 giveaways the first Monday of every month. If you win any one of those 4 giveaways, one of the prizes is you get to pick your lanyard. So yeah, that is now in the giant lanyard bag, which you will have the option to pick from. Also, this is another little thing that I saw in there. It says it's a stone coaster. Let's see what that means. So it's in a nice little velvety bag here. Something just shot across the room. Oh, come on, get off of there. Ah, sweet. Cool. So there it is. Oh, look, made by Woodchuck FPV. Ah, you can't read it, but yeah, that's pretty slick. That's nice looking. Cool. Little stone coaster. I'm not the biggest fan of. I prefer coasters to be a little bit absorbent, so that but you know, can't have it all. Little chrome and black sticker action, and big and small. So yeah, very cool stuff. Thank you, Rotor Riot. And then I bought a bunch of stuff. The big exciting thing in here are the 1002s. The 14,000 kV RCN power GTS V3 1002 murders. I'm gonna save this. This is another one of those like really nice cardboard boxes, which is good for organizing your shit. So I'm gonna hold on to this, and I'm probably gonna end up using it on my Kallax shelves to organize stuff, which is great. So yeah, I got a set of 5 teal, blue, and pink 1002 14,000 kV motors. These are going to go on the tiny lifter here that currently has the Newbie Drone 1102 10,000 kV motors, which just don't make quite enough thrust. They don't have quite enough kV to make enough thrust to turtle mode back over with the Insta360 going here. It's close. It's really close to being enough, but yeah, 10,000 is just not quite enough kV. which is fine because we have other motor options. So it's not like the end of the world. And to be honest, I'm like not heartbroken at all that like it's kind of nice. I would love for these 1002s to work because they're going to be a little bit lighter. This thing is a little fat right now, so drop it down onto these 1002s. I am going to have to hopefully these have, you know, I didn't even check that. I hope to hell that these have solder pads on the stator, because I'm going to have to change the motor wires out on these for the Newbie Drone JST, I believe it is 1.25. Hey, they do. All right, cool. So yeah, that'll make changing out the plugs on these a lot easier, which will be great. Still kind of a pain in the ass, but not the end of the world. Something I can definitely handle. I don't think I've ever done that on stream. Nah, that's not true. I have done it on stream. It's kind of tedious, but it's totally doable. So I'm going to put this thing right over here, and I'm going to put 4 of these motors right in front of it as a reminder, and then I'm going to take the last motor and put it in the little tiny whoop spot. Hey, I'm still looking for the 4-port version of this Lumineer Paragard parallel board. They make a version of this that looks like that, and I want it for my travel bag. It's the only one that I want. So if you have anybody else that you fly with that doesn't watch these live streams, do me a favor and ask them if they happen to have a Lumineer Paragard parallel board that's the 4-port. I need the 4-port version. I don't need it, but I want it. So yeah, do me a favor and ask around a little bit for me, and just kind of keep your eyes open for it. Maybe it'll pop up somewhere for sale. Vifly XT30 discharger. I just bought an extra one for me. I realized that I wanted to have one here and then one in my flight bag. It's just really, really nice. These are some of my favorite little things. They are these tiny, tiny, tiny little dischargers. They sell these in XT30 and XT60. It's just a little tiny heat sink, and you plug it into your battery. It senses what the voltage is at. It figures out what cell size that is, 6S, 5S, 4S, 3S, 2S, and it discharges to slightly above storage voltage. Super, super, super nice, stupidly small, just great, 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 great to have. And yeah, like I said, this is for my flight bag, so I'm going to throw it over there. I got an Avatar Pro camera because I'm just too curious. So this is the big Sony censored camera that's really good in low light. So I've now got 4 of the Walksnail cameras that I can do some comparisons, you know, the way that I do. So yeah, we've got the light camera, the super, super, super light camera. We've got the regular lightweight camera, which is on this build that we're going to try to finish here today. I've got the... You know what? I have 5 Walksnail cameras, come to think of it. I've got the standard V1 camera here. Yeah, this is the standard V1 camera. And then... For winning the micros thing, they also gave me a the V2 kit with the regular camera in it, and now I've got the Pro camera for the V2. So I've got 5 Walksnail cameras. That's pretty cool. I'll be able to do some really nice comparisons. The full-size Walksnail setup is going into a Ripsqueak, and that's where these big cameras are going to go. So we're going to be able to, at some point here, when I get that build knocked out, we'll be able to compare the Pro camera on a Ripsqueak to the standard V2 camera to the V1 camera. I think they're all interchangeable. So I think what I'm going to do is hang on to this V2 VTX. I'm going to use the V1 VTX, which is over here. And the V1 VTX is what I'll swap the cameras on to give us a nice comparison point. between all three of them. So yeah, that'll be really cool. I'm really interested in this Pro camera. The Sony sensor in this camera is really interesting. I'm wondering if I can set the manual settings to get a really decent picture out of this. We'll see. We'll see. Kind of excited. But first, we've got Tiny Whoop stuff to get through before we dive back into 3-inch land. I snagged another Mobula7 V4 frame because I do not have an extra right now, and I did break one of these at Rampage. I'm considering like kind of trying to beef it up where it broke. It broke right in here on this inner kind of spot. Maybe I'll just let it hang, and if I break another one, then I'll start beefing them up. I think just with like a little dot of welder in this one spot, it would just make it kind of strong enough to never die. But we'll see if another one lets go. If possible, I'd love to not do that because it's saving weight. Admittedly, not much, but a little bit here and there. And then I got another one of the proper light cameras. Because I am going to do a fractal Walksnail build. Over on the Discord, actually, Kevin Sumner just got some fractal weights for us, which is very cool. I think he put them in... where did he put them? Patron Hangout? No. Toothpick and Whoop? Hopefully he put it in Toothpick and Whoop. He didn't put it in Toothpick and Whoop. Livestream Live. It's in Livestream Live. Today at 5:30, he took a bunch of weights and put them all in there, which is super awesome. So yeah, check that out if you want to see what the fractal setups weigh. The reasoning behind doing the fractal setup is just to get the camera down as low as possible. I'm hoping that I can get the 65mm fractal build to work. I need to do an order and snag another fractal 65 frame because the analog fractal 65 build is not getting torn apart. That thing flies so good. It's just having the camera up and up in the front and low like that. There's some kind of special magic to that. And then having the lower KV motors, really like that rig, it flies noticeably different, but man, when you get used to it, you can just scrape the carpet with that thing. And the footage that I can get of the little RC drift cars with it is kind of insane. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get that same effect from Walksnail. I'm worried that. So like with the analog Walksnail build, I got less thrust, more weight, and less runtime. The same thing happened when I put Walksnail onto a regular 65 build. So now I'm going to do Walksnail and fractal, and I'm worried that it's not going to have enough run. Like I'm at about 2 minutes and 30 to 2 minutes and 40 seconds of runtime on the Meteor frame. So now that's going to come down to like 2 minutes and 10, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which is a little short. So we will see. I'm going to do that build after this one here. And it's going to be, it's going to go into the 65mm fractal frame first. And then if the runtime isn't there, if I'm not happy with that, it's going to get put into a 75mm Walksnail frame, which I actually already have, and I'm tempted to just put it directly into that, but I can wait. I can be patient. So yeah, got some cool stuff coming. This goes here. All right. So and then I snagged another Tattoo R-Line 4S 850 for the drift car chasing shenanigans. So this guy goes over here. All right, cool. And then this little Walksnail light goes. I'll just throw it over there. That'll work. All right, cool. So that's our mailbag taken care of. let's, now that you guys have seen my mail ball bag, we can dive into chat and see what's happening. Bob Bruce tagged me and said, "What's up, everyone? You lovely gangles. How's it going, CiottiFPV?" Big Willie 350 says, "Is the Emax Nanohawk 1S worth $50? It's on Father's Day special." $50? Yeah. $50. That's about right. That's about right. The Emax Nanohawk. Wait, is it the Nanohawk X? Emax Nanohawk 1S. $70 here. Nanohawk 1S ultralight. What is happening? Wow, $70 is a good deal for this. This is what I thought you were talking about. Even $70 for this is a pretty good deal. This, it doesn't fly great, but it flies like crazy. It's stupidly lightweight. It's incredibly quiet, and you can just fly it everywhere. It's not the greatest at anything, but it gets up in the air and you just fly it around. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. $50 for this little thing, though. This little guy is going to get kicked around by the wind really, really, really bad. D8, D16. I have actually not personally flown one of these little things, but I've heard from so many people that they fly really decent. So, yeah, man, $55 and $70. That's really good deals for those two little jibby jabbies. That's pretty awesome. Damn. Yeah. Big Goop says, as mentioned on Discord, noticed earlier that Tiny Whoop 702 high KV motors are back in stock. Bagged myself a set of 32,000s. Ramdango says, "Good evening, y'all." Yeah, I've got a Tiny Whoop tab opened here. We're gonna rip through the motors in a second and see what's in stock, what's out of stock, and maybe do a quick order. Ramdango says, "Good evening, y'all." Rockcrawler says, "Hey." Morton Upshot says, "I'm hoping Jesse at Tiny Whoop commissions some 1002 22,000 kV Danger onesies." That'd be pretty cool. I would rather him do a higher KV. I'd rather him do like 25,000 kV. We've already got the RC and powers. Those are 22,000 kV. We've got the Flywoos. Those are 23,500. We need 25. Like 25,000 kV would be the next logical step. If not 27. I would love it if Jesse could do 25 and 27. But, I mean, my God, he's done a shitload of motors. We're asking an awful lot. But, yeah, hopefully if he does them, he'll do a KV that doesn't currently exist. Ramdango says, "Very good shout. Cheers, Big Whoop, but darn was needing one 802 Hex 30,000 as bumped one once and realized it's done. When you have 3 good motors, good CiottiFPV." Yes. OMFPV says, anyone out there decasing the Walksnail V2 VTX? I haven't heard of anybody doing that, but I'm sure somebody is. Douglas Otwell says, I mastered the CiottiFPV backwards BT battery cable today. It's easy, right? There's just a couple simple things that you have to do. But yeah, it's good work. Athix says they have a new Walksnail VTX coming up. Really? What's the deal with it? Any specs? Michael D says, "Happy Friday. Did everyone see that Newbie Drone has finally released gold-plated PH 2.0 battery leads?" Yeah, they sent me one 2 or so weeks ago. I did a live stream where I installed it and ran it and whatnot. So yeah, go back like 2-ish weeks. It should be in the thumbnail of the live stream. Matt Edgerton says, "Do you carry your analog Walksnail goggles in a case or just use a dedicated FPV backpack?" Dedicated FPV backpack. It's the Low Pro BPX3 that you can't get anymore. It's got a pouch on the top of it that's kind of like a crescent shaped. It's flat on the bottom, and then it kind of does one of these. It fits Fat Sharks perfectly. It also fits Walksnail goggles perfectly. They just drop right in there, and I don't have to take any of the antennas off, which is really nice. I really do not like having to remove antennas over and over and over again. SMAs do not have a super long, like lifespan for putting them on and off and on and off and on and off. So yeah, I always try to have a case that where I can put the well, that's weird. Why are they rotating like that? They shouldn't be rotating like that. That's not great. Yeah, I like to try to run a case where I don't have to take the antennas off and on and off and on and off and on and off and on, because it's not great for them. It's not the end of the world, but it's just one of those things. Like, if you're going to fly a lot and if you want your shit to be, like, ultra durable for long periods of time, you got to think about little stuff like that. You got to think about the little things that you do over and over and over and over and over again, and either have a plan to like replace that stuff every year, every 2 years, every 3 years before it fails, or get a setup where you don't have to do that stuff. And for me, it's, yeah, because I'm a cheap bastard, it's trying to have a setup where I don't have to, in this case, remove antennas every single time I fly. Veluzia says, I have a Walksnail 300 watt on my 75mm Vision 40, and I get low voltage ghosting of image. 1S starts at 3.6 volt. Have you encountered this? If so, any remedies for this next in advance? I've not encountered that at all. My question would be, what are they driving it off of? I'm driving all of my Walksnails off of VBAT. If they are feeding it power from the AIO's 5-volt regulator, I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, if you look at where the Walksnail positive and ground leads are hooked up, if they're hooked up anywhere other than VBAT, which is basically the top of the battery pads that you're going to hook up your battery cables to, I would change that, and hopefully that'll fix the situation. Basically, one of the easier explanations I've heard is that the VTX has its own BEC to convert whatever voltage is coming in to the voltage that it wants. So if you've then got another BEC that's feeding into that, those two BECs are kind of going to be working against each other. You might as well hook it up to VBAT, send it full voltage, and then just let it take that full voltage and convert it to whatever voltage it wants internally. It might be 5 volt, might be 3.3 volt, probably 3.3. But yeah, that's what I would suggest there. I hope that Rotor Riot's building those with it powered from VBAT. I can't speak to that though. Morton Upshot says, I'm hoping he hears you say we need higher KV 1002s. Your voice is louder than mine. J Drone says, hi dude. I don't have, all of my conversations with Jesse have been on Facebook. So he is one of the many people that it's very difficult for me to talk to now. But I have people asking for 25,000 kV 1002s. No, we'll go even higher. 25,000 or 27,000 1002s. Any chance? 1002s become so we are going to reach the limit of 1S at some point here, and that might be it. So with each voltage, 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5, 6, there is a limit to how much power that you can make from that voltage before the amps get out of hand and the battery starts getting really hot. You can help with the battery getting too hot issue by going to a bigger cell, going from 300 to 450, 450 to 600. The physically larger cells handle better. It's one of the reasons why we don't want to run 2S on these tiny little rigs, because a 1S 300 mAh cell is going to perform a lot better than a 2S 150 mAh cell. 300 mAh seems to be the sweet spot. Like, you don't want to go below that, because the smaller the smaller cells just don't perform as well. So a 1002 25,000 kV is kind of interesting. If we get up to like 27 though, it becomes like, what props do we pair it with? Obviously 1.6s, the tri-blade like 1608s. Yeah, it kind of becomes interesting. I don't think we would want, I don't think a 1002 30,000 kV motor would really work. I think that would get to the point where, so, you know, again, we're pairing it with like a big propeller, like a 1608 tri-blade. And yeah, it would be cool to get some prototypes and see what the performance is like, but yeah, I don't know. The 802s, just don't know what that motor would be for per se. The 802 25 and 27,000 rip on the Gemfan biblades. I don't know really why you would need more than that, other than just the whole why does anybody care about the 85 millimeter tiny whoops that have just come out, right? Anybody who's interested in those, the only real reason to do those is if you want more power, technically also more runtime, but mainly more power, because who cares about runtime on tiny whoops? The batteries are so small and cheap, just swap them out. So yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong though. Jay Dredd says, hi dude. Michael D says, I just remembered your live stream talking about the gold-plated battery leads. Just been waiting for Newbie Drone to finally release them, and they have. Oh, I didn't realize that they sent me them. I thought when they sent them to me, they were releasing them. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that definitely did work better than other PH 2.0s. So if you've got PH 2.0 batteries that you just can't let go of and you have to burn them down, yeah, the Newbie Drone red plastic, gold-plated, solid pin PH 2.0 is definitely the way to go. All right, let's finish this Mobula7 Walksnail build. What do you say? No. Hold on. Let's go on Tiny Whoop's website first, and let's take a look at what's back in stock. Let me try this. Let me see what they've got going on here. 3 days ago. Oh my God. Oh wow, Jesse's having a little baby. Holy crap, that's amazing. Oh man. Wow, Jesse's life's about to get turned upside down. I'm just looking to see if he's got a post here calling out what stuff is coming in stock. We can just go through his website, but sometimes he'll put a post up. Nah. What is that? Oh my God, a HappyModel 03 Tiny Whoop. Ooh. Yo, I like that a lot better than the Beta FPV setup. Look at that. This is the first I'm seeing of this. Veritas Weasel says, is May multisensory aesthetic experience? It is. Yeah, May is a an indie rock band that I like fell in love with in my 20s and like followed them around and went to a ton of their concerts, and yeah, they make really good music. And yeah, May stands for multisensory aesthetic experience, which is, wow, $380. 03 is expensive. Jesus. 03 is 260 of that. I'm looking for a weight. I would love a weight, but I guess I'm asking too much. Well, wait, hold on. Maybe they have a picture of it on the scale. Wait a second. That just went to a completely different item. What the hell? What the hell? Oh my God, what's happening? There it is. Damn, yo. See all description. Here we go. We can get a little weight action. Give me a total weight, for Christ's sakes. Don't just give me individual weights. 1103s. Okay, 1103, 11,000 kV motors. Interesting. Here we go. Here we go. 80 grams. Okay, so it's a little bit lighter than the Beta FPV setup. What is this over here? It's weird looking. Pretty cool. Mobula 8 frame. Makes sense. I wouldn't necessarily want this on a 75 frame, I guess. Yeah, wow, very cool. Mobula 803, they're calling it. Good for you, HappyModel. Way to go. Damn, that's gonna be sick. Yeah, all right. So, no info here. Let's just dive in, and you know what we'll do? We'll just take a look at the motors that. Just take a look at the motors that I like. Really. All right. So 802s. What do we got? We've got damn near everything's back in stock. Jesus. Nope. 30,000s are not. But those are the heavy 30,000s. Maybe the EXs are. Snowblowers are in. 802, 25,000 kV, 1.5mm motor shaft. The iGao ones are not. So, yeah, I think I'm going to set of these. And then 802, 23,000, 22,000. Here are the EXs. 802 EX. 802 EX. 22,000s. The 802 EX 30,000s are still sold out. Okay, so the 802s that I'm really interested in are these snowblowers, and they are back in stock, which is awesome. All right, so then we've got, all right, so there those are. I'm probably going to try to snag a set of those. Now we've got 702s. So the 702 32,000s are in stock. I'm definitely going to get a set of those. The 702 30,000s are back in stock. Those are fantastic. And the 27,000s are even good. But, I mean, if you're going to go down to this lower than 32,000 kV, We Bleed FPV has you on the 702, so you got a couple different options there. Yeah, I don't really care about the rest of these 702s. All right, and now 603s. We've got the 26,000s, no 30,000s yet. Hopefully we'll get those 30,000s in the future. The 26,000 603s are really interesting for a 75mm rig, but other than that, yeah, I don't really know. Cool. All right, so do I already have a tab opened for Tiny Whoop? I don't think I do. No. So yeah, I'm doing a Tiny Whoop order because I need more of the clear Mobula 6 canopies. So that's the main thing I'm getting. I wonder what else just came in stock though. Pinch Cam, Pico Razor. What are these little tiny batteries for? I forget. So silly. I think these are just for like... I think these are just... Well, they're sold out, so never mind. I think these are for powering LEDs. Or they're just a joke. But I think they're for powering LEDs. They've got the 270 mAh batteries. I've tried those. They're nice and light, but on these really high power drivetrains, they don't make quite enough power, quite enough stank. They sag a little bit too much. Let me see. He's got dyed HD0 canopies. What about the? Does he have the Mobula canopy? I don't think he does. HD0 canopy, Mobula 6, HD0 tiny whoop. Canopy, Mobeetle, and then he's got his OG canopies. Okay, so no on that. What else does Jesse have? It says check this out. Oh, featured product section. Look at that. Oh, here's the little things of E6000. There they are. Yeah, little tiny tube of E6000. What the hell's B7000? What? Oh, it's more viscous. So it's thicker. Ah, okay. Look at that. Interesting. Learn something every day. Micro streamer party pack. That's kind of cool. Hang a streamer from your tiny whoop. Yeah, that could be fun. Snag some of those. Toiny Foya animated one has flickering fire LEDs. Jesse has a bunch of really cool stuff. 8 foot. What? Oh, you can buy them individually. You can buy them individually. I see. I see. USB LED projector. Whoa, what? No, I need that. Oh, God, I'm so sleepy. Ah! Look at that. How could you not want one of those? Huh. Okay. It's pretty cool. 1202.5, streamers, fractal wingman frame, face punch indicator, confetti go gun. What the hell's that? One-time use confetti gun. Oh my god. Oh my god, awesome. Confetti go gun. All right. What else does Tiny Whoop have? What else does Tiny Whoop have that that you guys want to see? Ramdanko likes Viagra Boys, Shrimp Season. It's bang CiottiFPV music. There are other cool bands. Very strange. Hey, look at this. P. Richard Scott made a little, he calls it a day in the life of a pro FPV pilot. This is all of his phone footage from Aniston at the cycling event. And he did a little edit with it. Look at this.
Hey, Brad, can I plug in?
Look at this gangly fella. Yes, yeah, there's a TV truck. This is one of the, this is a pretty small TV truck, actually. I'm basically trying to figure out where to get power from. Yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of charging. We were right next to that spot there. That's Mark and Brad, the two of the main guys. Mark's shirt says Spider Monkey Cycling. So yeah, that was our little setup right there. That's our communications here. Squawk box.
Yeah, so, you know, you're going to be really focus jockeying today. Do your best. But yeah, stuff like that.
That's what the squawk box sounds like. We were having so many problems with that. So yeah, here's the setup. Goggles through USB into the smart controller HDMI out into a Blackmagic box here that converts HDMI into coax, and then that they had coax drops everywhere. Sometimes it's fiber, and this is a smaller TV truck, so it was coax. Everybody actually prefers coax. The fibers are a pain in the ass. They're lightweight, but they're a pain in the ass. This is just getting some fun B-roll of some of the amateur races here. Kind of railing around, getting a little bit of Hero 10 B-roll. And yeah, some amateur races going on, getting things warmed up. Actually, this is a nice little recap here for you guys.
You guys need to take the bubbles and move them over to the podium. That would be super cool. So Mark's the director, so he's the one looking at the monitors, choosing which shots to take.
Ready, one.
So he's going to say ready, and then the cam that he wants.
So like ready 3, and then take 3. Or ready drone, take drone. This is range testing here. That's all the way down at turn 3.
Ready, 4.
And now this is during the race.
Okay, yeah.
And you can hear the call out.
Ready, 4.
Take 4.
Roll dark. Okay, yeah. That's probably good.
And you can hear it, ready? You can just barely hear it screaming. Oh, look at that face. Yikes, man. We make some weird faces when we fly, yo.
Yeah, I fly drone what you might call cinema style, not hang on to your undershort style.
Star Wars, baby. May the force be with him.
Yeah, so it's wild, man. Ah!
Drones.
Ah! Well, 6 hours ago, Joshua put this up. They were talking about it on the news the other day. Oh my god, he did a 13-minute video on this. Jesus. So yeah, there you go. Shout out to P. Richard Scott for doing that. It's a super cool little edit. Can I? Here's the link to it if you guys want to watch it. There's a link in chat. And then can't I save this? I can save it and then I can put it into. Where can I put this? I can put this into the Patreon playlist. That's pretty cool. Yeah, put it in the Patreon playlist. I'm going to put it in favorites, too. Cool. There we go. Go give P. Richard Scott a subscription. He's only got 26 subscribers. Let's get him up to 7,000 right now. Ready? Go! Yeah, super cool. Very, very, very cool. Let's go back to Tiny Whoop's website. And okay, what else? Hey, Mads Tech, what's up, brother? How are you? He says, what's plan with the O3? As a pro pilot, are you / will you be happy with the fact that you can only have high latency mode with anything but 120, 100 frames per second live view at 24, 25, 30 stutters like hell? Yeah, really good question, Ian. I, at the moment, have no interest in the O3 system because of all those reasons, and price, to be quite honest. I can't afford it. $260 per air unit and camera is just absurd. So for me, until someone asks for it and they're willing to pay me more basically for it, it's vistas. And here's the other thing, right? I've done half a dozen of these live stream cycling events and they all output in 720. So giving them, so what we get from the O3 system is a live 1080p feed, potentially with stabilization, which is really nice. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love that. And they do ask for 60 frames a second, so I would be able to run it at 60 frames, maybe even 120 or 100. And then the truck is the TV trucks are set up to be, yeah, they can do anything, so they'll take that down. So yeah, that would be interesting, and I think they would also be, they use my shots a lot for replay, and instant replays are usually in slow motion, so I have a funny feeling they would be able to take that 100 or 120 frames a second and do some really cool 0.25x speed slow motion replays. The problem is going to be a lot of these races run into dusk and into the dark, so O3 would be terrible in that scenario, whereas the vistas do amazing. The O3 won't fit in either one of the box frames that I have. That's an easy fix, though. Kind of annoying. I'd have to rebuild them, but I mean, it is what it is. P. Richard Scott's in the house. So yeah, there are just too many issues with it. For me to switch over to the O3 air unit would cost like $2,000. The new smart controller is $1,200 to, so yeah, the new smart controller for $1,200. The V2, the Goggles 2, I guess they're called. I think I would have to get those because I think those are what has to talk to the new smart controller, right? So that's another $550. So now we're at $1,750. $260 for per air unit. I need at least 2. Realistically, I need 3. Now we're up at like $2,500. I mean, that's just insane. That's just way too much money. I have a really good relationship with both of the cycling organizations that bring me onto these gigs, and they understand what the Vistas can do, and they understand what the O3 air unit can do. One of my main contact, Brad, he's getting more and more into FPV actually, so he gets it. And I've had a conversation with him and basically said to him, like, look, it's $2,500 for me to upgrade and like 20 hours of work. If you guys want to like at least split that with me, I'll consider it. But until you start outputting the live stream in 1080, which you probably won't because it's all about like reliability and just, yeah, 720 looks really good when you're putting it through pro level gear that these TV trucks have. It doesn't really make much sense. So yeah, there's just too many problems with it. Like it's just a bad FPV camera, all things considered. And that's something that like I'm really experienced with because I was on the split cam train from like day one, right? Because it was the first time we were able to get HD on micros. So from like the very first run cam split, I've been trying damn near every single split camera setup, and that's what the O3 is now. Like it is a full-blown split camera setup, like what RunCam and Caddx have done. And when you do that, when you do the split cam setup, there are a number of sacrifices, and I am well aware of those sacrifices, and they are nasty. Like they are nasty sacrifices. So I'm really not interested almost at all in the O3 system. The only reason that I'll go over to it is if I can get a live flying gig where they say to me like, hey, we need you to output, we need O3 air unit output, we need 1080 output. In which case I'm just going to have the discussion with them of like, look, great. You can either cover the gear cost or, my day rate is going to go up by $1,000+. However you want it to sit on the invoice, I can handle. But yeah, it's just flawed as an FPV camera. And what's really interesting is like for the live flying gigs, there's something to be said for the Vistas and the fact that they can just instantly adjust to any lighting situation. Like my camera system is never going to compete with the $10,000 to $20,000+ studio level big boy static cameras that they're going to have at these events, right? Like O3 Vista, it doesn't matter. Like my camera is never going to touch them. So those guys are there for like the really crispy, really, out of focus blur, like beautiful shots. I'm there, and FPV in general, right? Like we talk about this a lot on this live stream. FPV in general, in my opinion, it's not about how good the camera is. It's about how good the pilot is and how good the location is, right? Like when we're going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, an inch off the ground, who gives a shit if it's a Hero 8 versus a Hero 11? Like nobody's gonna care. The whole point of FPV is that like we are able to put a camera into situations safely that nobody else can. And like, yeah, it's great if you can also carry a medium format camera in that scenario, but typically you don't need to, right? Like I've worked probably 30 plus gigs in the last couple of years where my GoPro, typically 8 footage, has been mixed in with reds and just all the different medium format cameras, and you just can't tell. Like the footage of mine that they use, I'm typically like hauling ass or moving in a way. That's the only reason, right, to even have a drone on set, FPV drone at least on set. So yeah, the quality of the camera really does not matter nearly as much as the shot that you're getting. Obviously, you know, you can't fly analog. Like, I can't output an analog feed to the TV truck. But any of these HD systems output good enough quality where nobody really notices. Like, I get, like, when I do these live flying gigs, every like 10 minutes, someone stops at the tent and goes, dude, this is insane. They need to have you on every single one of these events. Thank you so much for coming out and doing this. This is incredible. Sometimes it's riders, sometimes it's spectators. Not a single person gives a rat's ass about the quality of the vistas that I'm flying. They're all just so completely blown away by the fact that I'm able to be, you know, 5 feet above the peloton of 30 riders, shoulder to shoulder, maneuvering in and out of each other. So yeah, the O3 system is super interesting, and for a 3-inch, for, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that I'm known for, the 3-inch freestyle builds, it's really interesting because it's pretty much the same quality as a session, and I'm like really tempted to do a super durable 3.5-inch build with O3 on board, and just stop flying these guys right here, basically. I mean, you're still never gonna match the flight characteristics of a 5-inch rig carrying like an 80-90 gram camera, but you could put a bigger battery on it, right? Like if you, it's interesting. Like to be honest, I think the O3 air unit should be a 4-inch kind of setup. I think somebody should, and I mean there kind of already is, the Apex 4-inch. Apex 4-inch with an O3 is a really interesting thing, in my opinion. You're going to have roughly the same thrust to weight to prop size ratio as a 5-inch rig carrying a session, which most people have kind of agreed is kind of the sweet spot. Some folks like astronomically heavy rigs, just put a bigger battery on it, or bigger motors, or both. If you want that. But yeah, the O3 air unit is very, very, very interesting. But if you want to get good footage out of it, it's going to be in 30 frames a second. The shutter speed is going to be at 160, and it's going to be a bitch to fly through. And like that, you know, I've played that game with the old split run cams, and like it sucks. Like it's the O3, here it is. The O3 air unit is not good enough quality to offset the fact that if you fly it in 30 frames, you're not going to be able to fly good enough to get good enough footage to offset the fact that it's not as good as a GoPro. It's in this weird like middle area of like GoPro with proper FPV camera will always win. It'll get you better quality footage and you will be able to fly it better. O3 is amazing, and like I'm so impressed by it, but like the quality isn't good enough, and then it's gonna be hard to fly with. So in order to fly, like it's almost like it should be, and I've actually been thinking about this over the past couple of weeks. I would almost rather build an analog rig with a little bump above the camera in the front. Actually, I have a frame here. And I think Let's Fly from Rotor Riot has already done this. Just a little TPU piece here to house the O3 camera. And you put an analog camera down here, and then you put your O3 here, and then you have a tiny little analog receiver, and then you like hang the O3 from here. I think that is how O3 should be used. because then you can get session 5 quality video out of it and still have an FPV view that works. The only problem with that is that the O3 air unit is going to be screaming and yelling, and it's going to stomp all over the analog VTX. So you would almost need a way to turn off the VTX. You know what I mean? It's not what the O3 is meant for. But I think there should be a mode to make it do that, because realistically, I think that's the most interesting use of it. All that being said, you can also put it on a Cinewhoop, but again, then it's like the quality is not going to be good enough. Although I love the idea of a 2.5 inch or even a 2 inch Cinewhoop with session 5 quality video. Again, not quite good enough, unfortunately, but for most people it's pretty good. For most people it's good enough. Yeah, that's super interesting to me. But personally, for me, other than the crazy range, I can't find a single thing to like about O3 for my personal use, and what I'm sort of doing. But that's okay. There's a lot of people that are already on it, and the range is real, and that is really cool. I don't know. It's a super interesting system, and it's brand new. I'm sure it'll get better, but it's a tough compromise to have to fly through 30 frames a second in order to get 30 frame per second DVR. That's a hell of a compromise. Maztec also says 100%. I'll be honest, the Avatar HD Pro Cam and the VRX goggles may be your best option after the Vista. The Pro camera is really nice. It's just the compression is still an issue over DJI. Yeah, so I've been super impressed by the Avatar stuff. Unfortunately, there is no clean video output, which really sucks, because I can just plug USB directly into these goggles and get output. Like USB to HDMI cable will completely bypass the smart controller, which saves me a ton of money and space and all these things. I will admit, though, I do kind of like having the smart controller, because I plug the DJI goggles in and the smart controller confirms to me that I do have video. One of the fears is that I'm flying, I'm chasing the cyclists, and I'm not outputting video to the truck. Like every 4 to 5 minutes, I'm coming back and swapping batteries, so the truck does not have a constant feed from me. And like there'll be times where I have to go to the bathroom. So like there are scenarios where there's 5 or 10 minutes where there is no drone video going into the truck, and they know that. So like if the Walksnail system did have clean video output, which it does not, I would be afraid that I would fire this, plug another battery in, and it wouldn't be sending video to the truck, and I wouldn't know about it. The smart controller is kind of nice to have in line, because I can see if it's frozen, which is a thing that digital kind of does do. Could the smart controller not be outputting to the truck? Absolutely. I've not had that happen yet. But yeah, I would be a little bit creeped out to not have some sort of a screen to check and make sure before the goggles go down that the video feed is live from the rig into the goggles into the truck. So for that reason, I don't mind the smart controller as much. I certainly do mind how expensive the damn thing is. And it's just another thing in line to fail, which sucks. But yeah. I really do wish that the Walksnail system had a setting for clean video output. That would be super, super, super interesting. But yeah, it does not, and I cannot send the TV truck video with OSD on it. That was very early on. They're like, yeah, we need a fully clean video output. You can do that, right? That was a very early requirement of theirs, and so yeah. Mad Stack also says O3 is also a little noisy too, on the ISO side of the world. It's a strange mix DJI have with it. As you said, it's bad in low light, but the second you get the ISO, you see the noise as well. It's a weird compromise. Yeah, it's technologically, my mind is blown. I cannot believe what they've done with it. But like from a usability standpoint, it's in a really weird place. And I also worry about like how not adjustable it is, right? You can't select 25 or 50. It just like automatically picks channels or something. Like there's a lot of shit that's like, whoa, what? Like if you're alone, like maybe this is fine, but like, I don't know. I'm also always super worried about like somebody plugging in a Mavic, and getting blown out of the air. Maybe it's better with that. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about it. There's a lot of weird shit. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I have absolutely no intention on spending any money on anything O3 related this year. And realistically, I don't know. I don't see these cycling live streams going from 720 to 1080 anytime soon, because 720 is not rock solid stable. So going up to 1080 is just asking for problems. And you know, this is like high stakes. They're getting tens of thousands of dollars in subscriptions and people tuning into these live streams. It's like big budget. So for it to not work is out of the question. So they're always gonna go for reliability over a slight bit of extra image quality. So yeah, great question. Thanks for stopping by, Ian. Very cool of you to swing over here. I almost never catch you live, but I watch a lot of your stuff after the fact. It's like great background stuff for me when I'm around here doing stuff. I love having it on, and I pick up things here and there. It's great. P. Richard Scott says 240 FPS for life. Indeed. Patrick came last night to the drift car. You might have seen him in the intro. He was there with his cell phone on 240 frames, getting some really cool footage of the drift cars coming around and me chasing them like right on top of them. So cool. CMYK says, what's up, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang? Metal Dirtskin says, I think for those of us who have given up ever being pro pilots, the O3 might be a better bet. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's so fucking expensive. Like, it's just so expensive. And I just don't know. I don't know about it over Walksnail, because, like, the Walksnail system is so much cheaper. It's way more adjustable, right? Like you can, it's not nearly as locked down. And like the things that the O3 system will do, it doesn't do them well, right? Like 4K 30, but you're never gonna use. That's not true. You're not never gonna use it. Like if. Yeah, I guess it is better. So here's the deal with the O3 system. Here's what you do. When you're flying freestyle, you run it in the high frame rate. When you're flying freestyle or when you're chasing a subject, because those are the two scenarios where latency really matters. You run it on high frame rate, and it is what it is. If there's a pretty sunset, or if there's if you're gonna do some Cinewhoop stuff, slow moving stuff where there's not gonna be, where the latency doesn't matter as much, then you kick it into 4K 30. So yeah, the power of the O3 system is the versatility. So yeah, you want to do pretty pictures, long range, whatever, get some gorgeous tree footage, awesome. 4K 30, it's going to be a terrible flying experience, but who cares? You're just going in straight lines. You're not doing anything hugely difficult or technical. And then, yeah, when you want to go, when you want to go with stuff that's going to actually have, so like, you know, here's, I'm really able to feel latency right now because of the RC drift chasing stuff. And it has really made me think about when latency. Does and doesn't matter. And I've never really heard anybody talk about this. We've hit on this a little bit here on the live stream over the past couple of weeks. So these little RC drift cars, they are constantly making little corrections. And so for me to try to chase them and frame them properly, while we're talking about it, I might as well throw some of the footage from last night up. What the hell, right? So for me to chase these guys and try to stay on top of them, it's really difficult. Like, and every single little movement they make, I have to react to. And that is a situation where latency really, really, really matters. You've got something unexpected happening over and over and over and over and over again, and you need to then react to it. So every single millisecond of transmitter and video latency makes a huge difference in a situation like this, where you're chasing a subject, especially when the subject is moving quickly. No, that doesn't cover it, because like full-size drift cars, they move quickly, but they don't change directions as fast as these little guys do. So it's actually not as important. It's still definitely important with full-size drift cars. But this scenario right here, this is the scenario that really, really, really pushes the shit out of your ability to make quick changes and adjust, and that's where latency becomes hugely important. So like chasing another drone would be another really good example of this. Like chasing a subject that is not just on rails, right? Like if the subject is on rails and it's not making changes in direction or pitch or elevation or whatever constantly, latency doesn't make nearly as much of a difference. What basically what I'm really noticing with the Walksnail 65mm rig and the analog rigs, even the tiny lifter, is that, yeah, the video latency of analog versus Walksnail or any of these digital systems, it makes doing this much more difficult. And yes, I do sort of get used to it after a bunch of batteries in a row, but getting used to it does not allow you to see forward in time. Like I'm still unable to time travel. So even though like, and I'm kind of at a point where I think I've gotten used to this as much as I'm going to, like in order for me to get better at this, I just need less latency. And like it becomes so obvious as soon as I put an analog rig up in the air. Last night, which is what you're watching, I flew like 5 or 6 of these Walksnail batteries in a row, and then I put the analog rig up, and then I went back to Walksnail, and then I went back to the analog rig, and it's just night and day. Like when I'm flying the analog rig, I am on top of these RC drift cars, and I am like all over them, and I'm able to track them really well. And then as soon as I go up in the air on the rig with more latency, there's Patrick getting some 240 frame footage. Yeah, and then as soon as I go back to the Walksnail rig, it's just like noticeably more difficult. And I put Patrick on the goggles too, like on my rates, you know, uncomfortable radio for him. And even he noticed it. Kind of the same thing. We talked about it a bunch over dinner. So yeah, this isn't me complaining, for the record. I'm actually really excited to finally understand this, because I've had a really weird relationship with these digital systems, and I don't really like them. Like I really prefer to fly on analog. So yeah, I think I'm finally starting to figure out why, and that's like really exciting, because like up until this point I was just that grumpy OG idiot that refused to, you know, that was too broke for digital and or just refused to switch over. But I'm now starting to kind of figure out why. Like, why is that? Why have I been? Yeah, why doesn't it do it for me? So yeah, kind of exciting to finally be able to put some data behind that. You know what I'm saying? Let me get caught up on chat real quick. MadSec says, thanks for the kind words on the videos. It will 100% help you sleep. Good to hear. Good to hear a pro pilot's response like you. Pirate's response, like you have as DJI, thinking everything is amazing. You're an inspiration, man, with what you do. Thank you, dude. You are as well, Madstech. You're doing God's work over there. It's really, really, really cool to have someone that is so tech focused and can really like dig into these things and is willing to tear them apart and put all the time in. It's super rad, man. Metadurton said, he says, but if I already have 20 vistas, if I'm going to Walksnail, I have to junk them all. Nah, I mean, you sell them on Marketplace. At least they'll be forward compatible with the goggles too. Yeah, yeah. If you've already got a bunch of vistas, although vistas on goggles too is a bit of a nightmare, right? Like you got to bind it to those and then back. Like the whole man, Rampage was really annoying. Like it was really annoying for there to be 5 different video systems on all the flight lines. Like it was super antisocial. Nobody was watching each other. Everybody is just sitting there outside of the goggles waiting for their turn. And like everybody's watching line of sight, which is not the end of the world, but like it's just very different than previous Rampages. Like previous Rampages, last year was the release of Walksnail. So nobody was on Walksnail. It was just analog and DJI. So you had a 50-50 chance that you could watch someone on the flight line. The Rampage before that was all analog. So everybody could watch everybody, and it was great. It was a big-ass party. And now all of a sudden this year there are 5 different video systems, and it's like nobody can watch anybody. People are like plugging it, the O3 system powers up and just screams and shouts all over everything. Like it wasn't a nightmare. I mean that's a little bit much, but like it was very different. It was very, very, very different, and not in a good way. So yeah, that was. And they were having issues during their freestyle competition because they had to have 5 different sets of goggles there, and like you're trying to have multiple judges, and like there's all these issues being caused by having so many systems. And like I think one of the biggest problems is that all the systems are kind of good. Like they all have really good things about them. So there's not like a clear-cut winner. Like each one of them does something a little bit different. So yeah, I don't know. We're spoiled for choices, but at the same time, I really wish that one of them would win, so that like 90% of people could be on like one tech. But I don't think that's going to happen. The O3 O3 has way too many problems, and it's way too expensive. I think Walksnail is got the closest. I think they're the closest to having a one-size-fits-all kind of system. But it's still going to have way more latency than analog, so I don't think analog's going anywhere, especially with tiny whoops. HD0 is super interesting, but oh man, I mean, the lack of VTXs is nasty, and it's really not that much better than analog. So I still prefer analog over it. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy what has happened over the last like 2 years. Right? It's in the last 2 years, all hell's broken loose with video systems, and now we're left in a really odd kind of situation. But thanks for letting me talk about that, brother. Great conversation to be having. Metatins also says, first law of FPV, no matter what you decide to buy, it'll be wrong. So true. Right9 says, O3 has 4K 30, 50, 60, 100, 120 in 16:9. It's only limited in 4:3 to 2.7, 30, 50, 60, 120. The more you know. I didn't realize it could do all of that in 4K. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, and that's kind of the other thing, right? 16:9 versus 4:3. I don't want to fly in 16:9. I want to fly 4:3. Well, now you're limited to 2.7. 2.7 is still really good, but yeah, I don't know. Nani FPV says hello. And all right, let's for real this time. Let's dive into the Walksnail 75mm build and see if we can knock it out here. We did mailbag. It's 8:25. We good. 35 minutes. It's gonna be bot grinder time. I hope you guys are ready. Get your drugs ready. Riot9 says it does fly at the frame rate reset, so that sucks. Yeah, that's the main problem with it, Riot9. That's what we've been kind of bitching about. Kevin Summers says, I took some comparison weights. You might be interested. Dropped them in Livestream Live. Yeah, I announced it at the beginning of the live stream, Kevin. So yeah, anybody that didn't catch that, over on my Discord in Livestream Live, Kevin Sumner weighed a whole bunch of fractal stuff, and the weight difference is, it's not that bad. It's still, there's still it's still more weight. And so when you go to the fractal stuff, it's not just an increase in weight, it's a decrease in thrust, and it's a decrease in like serviceability. It's just, yeah. I still firmly believe that the only reason to go to the fractal frames is if you want your camera all the way up front and as low as possible. For example, if you're chasing RC drift cars. I think that is like the perfect use of the fractal setup. I really don't know of a single other use where I would prefer that setup to just a regular plastic frame that's going to be more durable, make more thrust, be lighter, easier to change batteries on, stuff like that. So yeah, sorry to all the fractal lovers, but I still don't get it. It sounds terrible, but it's the truth. I just I still think it's kind of different for the sake of being different, and I know that sounds harsh. I don't mean to be harsh with that. It's not. That's not why it was built. But I don't know. There just aren't many settings. Here it is. There aren't many settings where I think it makes sense. That's really my that's where I'm at with it. All right, so the VTX is going to sit like this because it needs to clear, the UFL needs to clear the canopy. There's only one way that we can sit this. So these cables are going to run like that. The power and ground cables are going to loop around and hook up to the top of the battery pads on the rear. And then the TX and RX cables are going to run up towards the front. Hopefully there's enough cable length for them to do that. Jesus, there might not be. Well, whatever. I can always change the way that it's routed. But, yeah. Let's get going here. Which one's TX and which one's RX? Is gray TX? Hey, can somebody look up the Walksnail Lite? This is not the Lite. This is the Walksnail 1S. What's the... So it's power, ground, and then white, and then gray. Can somebody tell me what the white is and what the gray is? TX versus RX? Thank you, guys. Kevin Sumner says, so you're saying I need to do thrust testing? Not really. It's so obvious, dude. Like, you really don't even need to test it. It's super, super, super obvious that there's a definite difference in thrust. I mean, and it just makes sense. There's two big pieces of carbon fiber per duct blocking the thrust. So I mean, there's kind of like no way that it wouldn't make less thrust. You know what I mean? All right, cool. So this is ready to be soldered to. So let's get that going. The UFL is up in that corner. All right, cool. So we're gonna take our little putty container here. Nani says gray is TX, and that's TX on the board itself, right? And I'm going to be which means I'm going to hook it up to RX on the AIO, just to confirm, right? Gray is TX. Looks like everybody's saying gray is TX, and it goes to RX. Thank you, Nani. Yep. Just wanted to confirm. This is not me insulting your intelligence. Just wanting to confirm that. All right, so we've got ground is towards the corner, and then positive is out front. All right, so let's get the power leads hooked up first here. And the way that I'm going to put them is I'm going to route them in this direction so that they can link up with this guy. And I will do my best to give you all the ultra mega close-up of this. If the camera refuses to focus, I tried. There's only so much I can do. Logitech has to bear some of the burden here. Okay, so these wires are already stripped. I'm assuming that they're already tinned, but just in case, I'm gonna hit them with a little bit more fresh solder to make sure there's enough on them. You're not gonna be able to see this, but just take my word for it. I'm just tinning the wire real quick here. 1 and 2. In my ripe old age of 42, I do need to use magnified optics now, and I think you should too. With this tiny whoop stuff, it's just too effing small. There's just no reason to torture yourself any more than it's already going to torture you. So yeah, just jump on Amazon and get yourself a pair of nerd goggles, and you can thank me later. All right, so let's get these soldered down here. We've got ground up on top and VBAT on the bottom. All right, so we're gonna go ground first. And so we're piggybacking these on the, these little tiny AIOs don't have VBAT pads on them, unfortunately. So you gotta solder these on top of the battery leads, which I really don't like doing, but it's not that bad. It's not ideal, that's for sure, but it's also not the end of the world. And I need a little flux on here. There we go. Alright, and I'm just going to rework that one real quick. I was being very lazy. There was a big old blob of solder, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And it wasn't. Oh, Christ. I thought that I had pinched the wire, but I hadn't. There we go. So the main thing you're worried about when doing this is you don't want your battery lead wire to pop out of there. So keep an eye on that. Okay, there was the ground done. And now we're going to do the voltage. I'm not going to be lazy this time. I'm going to get a little bit of flux on here. Okay. Oops. And there we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to check to make sure we didn't push the battery leads out. And we're good to go. Cool. So you just basically want to be very gentle when you're doing it. That's how you prevent from pushing the battery lead down and out. All right, so now we've got this thing powered from VBAT. The other pads that we need are up here, T2 and, well, we can do it on 1. We can do it on T1 and R1. So you guys said that gray is TX. So at this point, you also want to kind of think about how these cables are gonna be routed. So let's just do that real quick here. I'm gonna bring you back up to the bench cam. So when this thing is in the rear, the UFL is on the left here. So it's gonna sit like that. Okay, cool. So we got plenty of slack on the power and the ground cables. So now these guys, we're going to keep them, we're just going to pull them up out of the way. And just want to make sure that like the cables don't get all twisted up. On these really tight builds, you want the cables to sit as flat as possible. So you always want to just take like an extra couple seconds to make sure that, yeah, you don't have cables crossing over one another, because they become like way, way, way thicker when they cross over each other. So really quickly, I'm just going to tin these wires just like I did the other ones, just to make sure there's some fresh solder on them. This gray wire is looking kind of ugly. Let's take a quick look here. Nah, it'll be fine. I don't want to shorten these cables up at all. One of the little tricks, you can take a cable and take your little pinky fingernail, and you can actually just pull the silicone insulation back, and you can usually get yourself, like, if you didn't strip quite enough off, yeah, you can kind of pull it back and get a little bit more. And then what's nice is it'll kind of push itself back forward over time. So yeah, that's a handy little trick. And I was able to just do that on both of these. Just a little bit. So I'm going to try to use the through holes on these. So this is going to be a little interesting. Let's see how this goes. So yeah, we got the cables routed properly. The power and ground are going to cross over, but they can cross over up on top of the board. So yeah, we got that going for us, which is nice. So gray is TX, so that means it's going to hook up to the RX pad. That's how it works. And we're going to do the RX1 pad. This AIO, for anybody that wasn't watching on Whoop Wednesday's live stream, this is the Neutron RC AIO. I have high hopes for it. I don't know anything about it, but it looks kind of interesting. I don't know. There aren't many options in AIOs that do have ELRS but don't have VTXs built in. So this is one of the few ones, and this is one of the lighter ones. So I've chosen to kind of go with it. All right, so now I got to get the nerd goggles back on. For doing these through holes, it's pretty difficult. I'm not even gonna lie. You want to put the board up at an angle like this so that you can get the soldering iron underneath, and then you can feed the wire through up on top. And you got to sort of blindly bring the soldering iron up from underneath, which is kind of the biggest part of the problem here. So when you're doing through holes, don't skip any of the steps. Do shit properly. Use flux. And just breathe, man. It's gonna be frustrating. Just yeah, breathe through it, calm the fuck down, and hopefully you'll get it right on the first shot. Gray is TX, so I'm gonna hook that up to RX. RX is all the way off on the right. TX is to the left. Let's get some solder going. So basically, I'm going to need to pick up solder with the tip of the soldering iron, and I'm going to need to bring that solder up from the bottom of the board here. So we're going to have to pick the solder up, rotate the soldering iron around, and then pull it up from the bottom. Gray is TX. So, all right, cool. So one of the nice things is that these cables are not going to have to cross over, so that's kind of nice. When you're using through holes, you got to make sure you don't have any extra solder on the wire, because that'll make it too thick to fit through the through holes. So let's see if this guy is going to fit through there first and foremost. This is the white cable, and it won't quite fit, but if you bring the soldering iron up on top like that, it'll liquefy the solder, and you can sometimes get it to just kind of drop in and through. Once you get these through the through holes, you're pretty safe. You can then rework it from the bottom and add a bunch of solder in there. But the hardest thing is just to get it to go through the damn through holes. So if you have to do that with the flux up on top like this, that's fine. All right, so I think I got them inserted enough. We're going to flip them upside down and take a look. And I did not. Neither one of them have gone far enough through. You just want it to peek through the bottom of the through hole. I was being super gentle and really not pushing on the wire very hard. And it kind of bit me in the ass here. So we're going to have to rework this from the top to get the wires far enough through. And then we can go on the bottom and add some more solder. So at this point, I am actually going to bring the tip of the soldering iron in from the bottom of the pad, just so that I have enough room on top to kind of push. So let's try that. There we go. All right, that one, I could feel it on the bottom. Now I'm going to do the white wire. There we go. And you can actually kind of see it. All right, so they should both be peeking through the bottom now. Let's take a look. Oh, shit. No, not quite. What the hell's the gray wire doing? So now is where you got to really be careful. Because when you start pushing these through the through holes, you can very easily have like a strand of wire break away and bridge to another pad. But I do not have that going on. The white wire is through enough. The gray wire is so close. It's so close to being pushed through enough, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to rework it one more time, and then we should be okay. So I'm going to do it from the top again. I'm going to bring the heat in from the top again, I should say, because there's a bunch of flux up on top. All right, that should be good now. No, it's still not there. Okay, so let's put some flux on the bottom. And I'm going to bring the soldering iron up from the bottom again. What's nice about doing that is you can literally feel the wire push through and push up against the tip of the soldering iron. So I'm holding the soldering iron flat like this. Instead of holding it normally, where you have that downward angle, rotate it in your hand, and you can set it like, you can hold it like this, and this way you can get it all the way flat against the table and then pull up into the pad. And you can brace your fingertips on the table so that you're really solid. And you just kind of like pinch it upwards, and you have really good bone support on the table. So if you're shaky, you won't be shaky. You'll be nice and solid with this because you're able to brace it against the table. Let's see. Come on now. This is it. Let's get it on this one. There it goes. That was it. And while I'm here and while I've got heat in the board, I'm going to push the white one through a little bit more, I think. Because I got a bigger gap than I want. There we go. There we go. Cool. So I really like to push these wires into the through holes. So you've got your... all right. So you've got your through hole. Imagine this. This is the through hole here, right? And then you've got your wire. Imagine this is the naked strands of wire, and then this is the part of the wire that has the silicone insulation. A lot of times, most of what I see is like this, where you've got your through hole, and then you've got an area of the exposed wire, and then you've got your silicone. And when it's like that, it always breaks here. Always, 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 always. What I've found is if I push this through so that the insulation is butted up against the PCB, it like never breaks. You can put a bend in it here, and like just the silicone keeps the bend at an angle that doesn't like crease, and it's just so much stronger that way. So I always recommend that. That's why you want to... When you're stripping the silicone with your fingernails, you want to just take the slightest little amount possible. And then like you could even make the argument that you really want to take the tiniest little bit and then push the silicone down, because then eventually the silicone will force its way up and push against the PCB. But typically, yeah, if you just don't remove too much silicone, you'll be completely fine. And yeah, we are now good to go. That is the last of the soldering that we needed to do. Phonics says, on that flight controller, how long is the thin RX wire used to replace the ceramic ELRS antenna? It is, I don't know the exact length, but I think it's 32.3. Somebody in chat post the link to that article with antenna lengths. Yeah, this is, you can get a pack of 10 of these. little whisker antennas from Newbie Drone for like $5, and these are all, in theory, the appropriate length. Or if you have any old FR Sky receivers, they're all 2.4, so you can just chop the active element of the antennas off of those, and just use that because that's pre-measured the right length. Nani FPV saying, smash the like button if you haven't already. I agree. I agree, friends. Cool. We're done soldering. We've got these two guys, and they are going to be long enough. And that's exciting. Let's see if they're long enough to go around the side. They sure are. Maybe not. Nope, not quite. Not quite long enough to go around the side, but that's okay. And I'm noticing that, yeah, that's sitting right up against those. So these two wires are going to go up this way so that I can... Man, I maybe should have fed these wires from the bottom. That would have been nice. But this will be okay. This will be fine. Well, shit. No, are they what's hitting? Nah. There's plenty of stuff that's hitting. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to use these grommets that this came with. I think I need taller grommets. Yeah, I definitely need taller grommets. Okay, that's fine. This is looking pretty good, though. This is looking pretty good. So we'll get these wires crossed up on top of the board. And then we can lay these guys flat. There we go. So that's going to sit on there like that. And then these little fellas, we can use up the extra cable length. This is just me being a little crazy about like trying to leave as much cable length as possible. I could have cut this down shorter and it would have been a little bit cleaner, but this will be completely fine. Okay. I did forget though. I do want to add some extra solder to the bottom of these pads here. I almost forgot that. Sorry. I talked about it and then I just didn't do it at all. So I'm just cutting ever so slightly away at the wire that peeked through. All right, cool. Realistically, this would have been completely fine like this. The wires were tinned, and they seem to be holding on just fine, but there's no reason to not just really quickly hit either one of these with a little bit of Erica on my mind. What song is that? What's that from? Somebody knows it. Ciotti's opinion on thrusting. Indeed. Alright, here we go. Let's see if I can get this without these wires falling out. Yep, there we go. And there we go. Cool. Those through holes are now filled with solder. We're going to flip this guy over. Make sure we didn't push the wires out. Son of a bitch, I pushed the gray wire right out of there. Damn it. Alright, so now this becomes a little bit more difficult. But, I mean, there is enough solder in there, which is a good thing. But, yeah, that sucks. That was stupid. I was a little bit too slow with it. Alright, let me make sure I'm not crossing the wires up. One cross there, one there. Okay. I'm not going to give you guys the ultra close-up because I'm just going to try to knock this out real quick. So, you could argue that it's better to do this ahead of time. Fill the hole up with solder like this, but usually I can, I mean, like you saw it with the white one, I was able to get away with it. I can usually get away with it sometimes. this happens though. That's all right. Get it back down here. We're gonna. Good to go. You know what? At this point, I'm actually going to take these out and I'm going to solder them up from the bottom because I kind of wish that I did that in the first place, and it will make the it'll make a little bit more clearance. Okay, so white one in there, and then the gray one. Now I'm just being super impatient and doing this like a really weird way. I do not recommend you do this the way that I'm doing it right now. Hold on, let me take a second. Let me take a second to get this a little bit better here. Okay, so I've already got creases in the wires. I want to try to not have to crease them again. Not crease them, bend them. Bend them and fold them. Okay. So yeah, I'm bringing these up from the bottom because the heat sink on the Walksnail VTX is right directly above where these wires are. So I want to run these wires through the bottom so that they're not, the silicone of the wires is not smashing right into the into that heat sink. There we go. Okay, there's the white one, and now I just want to make sure that I'm not getting this shit all crossed over itself. What the hell's going on here? Why does this look so gangly all of a sudden? Good Lord, what? Okay, that's rear. That's rearward. Jesus, what? Hold on. How does this go? It goes like. Wow, I'm. Okay, there it is. 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 Okay, like that, and then they cross over. Okay, yeah. All right. I'm glad that I didn't just zap that on there because I would have crossed these cables over. There we go. Okay, so that's going to run up, and then we're going to hook that up to that hole. Okay, cool. Sorry I'm not giving you the ultra close-up, but you really wouldn't be able to see anything right now. This is excruciating at the moment, if I'm honest. But it's going to be fine. I'm going to get it right now. Here we go. Here we go. Oh boy, this is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult. Tiny whoops, why are you so little? Why are you so small? Here we go. Dropping this guy down. Trying to get the angle on it. It's probably bot grinder time. Go get you some bot grinder, friends. Don't let me keep you from getting your bot on. Okay, I have to feed this through. So help me God, if I'm hooking these up to the wrong pads, I'm not going to be happy. There we go. Okay. All right, I think I'm there. And let's see if I can just kind of knock this out. All right, so I got it tacked down. Now I just need to get it pushed down through the through hole. Shit. difficult. I need more wire length. Okay, so I need to pull that out like that, and now I need to stuff this down in here. Yeah, this I have to do it this way. It's the only way that I can kind of get the angle. All right, so here we go. In theory, I should be able to get it this time. I'm gonna have to come up and over like this. Here we go. Come on, baby, go through there. Get in there. Fuck! Come on. Yeah. Go. Well, that's pretty good. That might be as far as it's gonna go. I really want to get it to push down there. It's a little bit more, just a little tiny bit more. Come on now. Try to use my fingertip. I think I just got it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, cool. So now these are on the bottom, and they're just not going to get in the way of the... man, that was really fiddly. And I got to make sure that I didn't bridge them. Fuck me, I bridged them. Oh my god, this is super annoying. Alright, hopefully I can clear this bridge without the wires popping out. Here we go. There we go. Cleared the bridge. I definitely pushed the one wire out a little bit though. Now I gotta check that. Nah, we're good. I didn't push it out enough for it to be a problem. Okay. We're all set. Jeez, man, that was brutal. Freeload just says Lou Bega. There it is. Oh my god, Mo FPV's in the house. Woo! We didn't talk about iGow this week. What was it? Veritos user called RDQ about 03 Cinelog 20, told him I was talking to you and some of the guys in the chat, and they said, tell RDQ to give me a new replacement drone, and they did. Nice. See that? You just gotta yell and scream. No, I mean, it really is true. Like, we absolutely have Stockholm Syndrome, and we think that we need to fix everything. And, like, you know, if you're going to pay for a bind and fly, it's going to work. That's just the way it's going to be. All right, so this goes here, that goes there. Those two wires go up and around. Yeah. Now we're talking. Okay, that is the ultimate in cleanliness. Let's pick some grommets, because these red ones that this Neutron board came with are not going to be tall enough. So I would love to stick with red ones, and I do have some reds here, but I don't know if these are going to be tall enough. Nope, not quite. These are the exact same height as these guys. So what do we got that's a little taller? How about these light blue ones? They are taller on the bottom, so that's a possibility. I got some of these black ones from HappyModel forever ago. These are the same thickness. Don't want to use those. I think I'm going to end up using these blue guys. There's also these pink fellas. But nah, we got a bunch of these blue ones. Let's use these. 2, 3, 4. I think it's Diatone that makes these blue ones. They're kind of interesting. They I wish they hadn't chosen the exact same color as T-Motor, because T-Motor makes blue grommets in this same color, and they're very slightly either thicker or thinner. So you gotta like make sure that you line these up. You don't want to mix those. Yeah, these should be good though. All right. So we're gonna put these upside down because we're using the thick part of the grommet to space the Walksnail VTX up. And there's a chance we're actually going to run into some problems from that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, which will be in about 60 seconds. Yeah, it's 9:01. Go get some rock grinder, friends. I'm going to keep farting around with this thing. Front and back. Does this frame have a front and back? I don't think it does. It does not. So let's go. Although this is a little bit thicker here. Let's put this in the back. So that's the rear. So we're going to feed the battery lead through first here. Okay, jam that through. And then see if I can get this AIO to sit down on here without any of these grommets popping out. I would love enough space to put a connector on the VTX to AIO connection, but that shit ain't happening. All right, so yeah, these grommets are falling off all over the damn place. As to be expected, but very annoying. Neutron chose to really like not the little pockets for these grommets to sit on are pretty terrible on this Neutron AIO, and then with this whole Walksnail shit clogging up the works, this might be really frustrating. So fair warning, if you don't like cursing, now might be a time to tune out of the stream, because this is going to get really annoying really fast. Because, like, human fingers don't work. Like, this is stupid. This is very dumb. Oh, God. Oh, you fuck! Okay. They've all now fallen off. Nope, one of them stayed on, which doesn't matter. They might as well have all fallen off. Fuck! Okay. Let's try this again. I don't know if it's better to, like, try to get one at a time or all at a time. I usually do them all at a time, but... Oh, this fucking Neutron board, yo. Like, this is hard enough when the board at least cradles the fucking grommet. Come on, man. God damn it. Please. Oh, come on, you piece of shit bastard. Well, at this point, I'm just trying to do them one at a time. It seems to maybe be working, but the problem is once you get 3 of them, the 4th one's impossible because now you got to undo the first 3. So, like, now this whole one at a time thing is going to fall apart. But, I mean, we're here. We're going to try it. So I'm lifting this up. I'm trying to sneak it on. Come on, man. Come on. Just get in there, please. Please. And, like, you can't really use tools like you want to, but they just don't. It just doesn't work. Like, you just have to use your fingers. Oh, my God. I might have just gotten it. Please, 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 please. Is it on there? All right, so now the hard thing becomes, are these grommets tall enough? These particular, oh god, now I've got, oh my god, the motor cables are like jammed in here. I'm gonna have to lift this up to get this out, and then it's gonna pop off the grommet, I'll bet. Fuck you. Oh, don't you dare. Okay. Got that out. Oh, there's another one. Damn it. Oh, I got it out. I got it out. Okay. So yeah, now I have to see like what's hitting. Like this USB port is kind of touching this. I mean, it's not actually touching, but god damn is it close. These grommets are really thin on the one side, so this AIO is sitting really low in here. I think we're actually going to be okay though. So long as the USB doesn't rub on the battery. But it looks like it's just barely clear. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna assume that it's not rubbing on anything, and then if we have like massive flight performance problems, I'll kind of know what it is. Putting this antenna down here just to kind of try to keep it out of the way. Okay, so now we got to try to get the Walksnail board all so that it's happy. All right, here's the power and the leads, the power and ground rather. They're hanging out in there. They're looking pretty good. This is looking okay. Ah, farts. All right, so the Walksnail board, it's actually sitting too low. It's sitting so low that it's hitting up against the motor 4 duct. Damn it. So these grommets are actually too short for this frame. So that was all for nothing. Okay, well that only gives me one grommet option. Vertosi says, do you prefer HD0 Walksnail or Fat Shark goggles? They're all the exact same. Oh. I've never used the HD0 goggles. The Walksnail goggles are good, but the old school Fat Shark goggles are the goddamn best. Dental floss doesn't... dental floss won't work. I actually also don't like using dental floss. I find it to take much longer, and it doesn't really do much of anything. But yeah, these are not through holes in these grommets. They're just pockets, and that's why it's so difficult, because it just keeps popping out of the pockets. I've got these really tall HappyModel grommets that come on their like HD0 and Walksnail builds, so that's what I'm going to be using here. There's a set of 4 of them. There is another really tall black grommet in here though. No, that's not it. Well, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to use 4 of these little fellas because these are longer than what I'm using at the moment. That does not look like the right size grommet though. Is that the right one? That's the right one. Okay, cool. So, and then this is some like different one. All right, these are the ones that I need to use. This should be completely fine now. Let's just undo everything that we just did. Okay, well, let's try this. Try to lift it up and just swap them out one at a time. Well, first, let me make sure that these are indeed taller. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're significantly taller. Okay, so put it in the little side pocket there and push it down on the peg. Please? Nope. I'm going to take it all the way off. Neutron RC, you need to fix this. This is a bad design. This is a really bad design here. Beta FPV at least extends these little, extends the little pockets farther to hold the grommets in a lot better. This is just insane. This is a bad setup. Yeah, this is not nearly enough of a pocket to hold these grommets in while you push it down over the pegs. This is a nightmare. I will probably not buy another one of these boards. I know this seems like a shallow thing to not buy one of these boards, but this will make working on this rig a complete nightmare every single time I have to work on it. And that's just stupid. Like that's just, don't do that to yourself. So yeah, it's the, if I do another one of these, it's going to be on the beta FPV crossboard. Oh man, this is, I'm really going to start to get upset now. Veritas User says, is there any differences between the Walksnail goggles and the Fat Shark Dominate features or hardware? Nope, same thing. Yeah, this sucks. This sucks. Okay. Come on. Come on, you bastard. Oh, god damn it! Oh, come on, man. God damn you. Now this is terrible. This is really, really, really stupid. Oh boy, I've not been this frustrated during a build in a while. I got 2 of them on. Try to get these other 2. Like, this is just short-sighted. This is some shit that, like, you spec the board out on the computer and then you just have a million of them made. Like, you don't build a single tiny whoop with this board. If you did, you would realize what a stupid setup this is, and you would fix it, and you would extend the PCB by like 1 millimeter, which would fix this. It would really take practically nothing. I mean, just basically do this exactly the way that Beta FPV does it, and you'd be completely fine. Or just make it an entire hoop to go all the way around, and then it's really, oh fuck you! Oh god, it was so close. Yeah, this is oh god, this sucks. Oh! Come on. Oh, I might have gotten it. It's trying to push the other ones off, though. God damn it. Come on, dude. And the board is like a little bit oversized to this, which is making it even worse. Oh man, now they're all, oh my god, now they're all trying to, fuck you. Oh, this sucks bad. Come on. That's not in the notch yet. Yeah, don't buy this Neutron board, guys. Do not buy this board. This is real dumb. And like, I have a lot of patience for this kind of shit because I've been building micros forever. Yeah, normal people would throw this into the goddamn river. I've thrown this into the river by now. Now this, somehow this camera, how did it even get fucking through there? How? That's how. All right, well, I mean, I don't know. Oh my god, I'm so fucking over this by now. This is stupid, and I'm really afraid that these are gonna be popping off every time I crash this. Like I think that the AIO is gonna pop off the grommets every time it crashes. Maybe not, but I have a funny feeling that's gonna become an issue. All right, so this is about as good as it's going to get now. At this point, I need to mount the camera in the canopy, and then the canopy can come down. Because, yeah, I won't be able to mount... Well, maybe I will. Let's just try to mount the canopy. What do you say? This canopy has the great big holes in it, which these screws... just barely catch. Oh man, this is super frustrating. Oh god, come on now. I think we might have caught the threads though. Holy Christ, we caught the threads. Unbelievable. I thought this was going to be the most frustrating part. MoFPV says, can you share what shrink you use for the BT pigtail? I would like to set up mine like that. Any old shrink wrap will work, but there is shrink wrap that has glue on the inside, and that's what, in my opinion, you should use for it. You know, my shrink wrap is just like from Amazon. Like you won't be able to find the exact one that I have, but yeah, just start reading the descriptions of shrink wrap, and you'll see there's some shrink wrap with some kind of glue on the inside. It's kind of interesting. Somebody on the stream the other day was saying that it's like marine shrimp wrap. Sorry, it's shrimp, not shrink. Yeah, this is as frustrating as I thought it was going to be. Oh, but I think I got that one. Ah, shit! I forgot to plug in the antenna. I'm just going to use a little whip antenna for this thing because I don't have another left-hand circular polarized antenna for it. And I'm going to run it down from the top here because I think the camera is the correct way in there at this point. Ooh, baby, this is a challenging build, yo. This is not a build for people with anger issues. This is brutal, I gotta be honest. I'm not looking forward to having to take this thing back apart. Ooh, come on now. God damn it. Plugs. Oh my god, I hate you so much when you won't plug in. Please just fucking go in your little home there, you jerk. Are you too good for your home? Answer me. There it is. Jeez. Okay. I really want to get the antenna exiting out through this top bit, but it looks like the camera is like all the way in the way. Where are the mounting points on the camera? They're all the way back there like that? Jesus, how the hell is this camera gonna mount? It's like smashed into the board. Oh, this is silly. Well, I mean, that's how the camera's gonna mount. I might as well throw the itty bitty little screws into it now. I just happen to have a set over here, it looks like. Although I don't know if they're going to be long enough. Let's see. Come on, buddy. Thread in there. Oh, no, that's the wrong Allen key. Allen driver, I should say. Yeah, there it goes. I think that's threading in. Yep. All right, cool. So this is the HappyModel Walksnail canopy. Like, this is the specific canopy. Volusia FP with a $2 super chat. Thank you, dude. There we go. And let's thread it on this side as well. Hey, there we are. Cool. All right, well, the camera's cranked down. That's nice. Got an awful lot of up tilt on it, though. Let's take that down a little bit. There we go. Okay. So the camera's in there. I need to get more of these screws in here, though. We got a real situation brewing. This power and ground leads are a little too long. I wish I'd shorten them up just a touch. Just trying to pull them out here and get them kind of creased so that they want to stay in one position. There we go. Okay, that should be all right. Okay. Well, there's not enough of a gap here to run the antenna down through. This gap is being eaten up by the camera. So this antenna is just going to have to live like this, basically. This is super ugly, but I don't really have anywhere else to secure the damn thing. What I might do is fold it back in on itself and just run it back across. I don't know. I guess I could run a zip tie around here to hold this antenna. What else can I do about this antenna situation? I can run it forwards, but then it gets like in view very easily. Now, let's just leave it here, and I'll crease this wire as much as I can. And then it'll go into the props, but it's just a tiny whoop, so it'll be fine. Okay, let's try to get another couple of these screws in here. Why is this board... Whoa, what the hell's going on here? This board is like all over the damn place. What is that? Oh, God. Okay, so the problem is the grommets are trying to escape. Escape. All right. Front one. And, like, I don't know, man. I'm not totally convinced that this canopy isn't just going to pop right off of here. These screws, like, kind of go through these holes. I don't know. It's... I'm going to try it like this, but I don't get the feeling that this thing is going to be even remotely durable. Like, I think this is going to explode after every crash. Maybe not. But... yeah, I'm not... I don't have high hopes for this. This is a really... I really don't like the way that these mount. I don't know how else you would mount these, but this is a really bad mounting system that HappyModel's got here. There should really be like a double grommet, or a grommet with two slots in it kind of thing going for this. And longer posts. There should really be like a specific frame for these double board setups. But, you know, in the world of injection molding, that costs tons of money. And we demand that our shit be cheap. So this is what we get. Garbage. It's not garbage. It's just a nasty way of mounting these. And like right now is one of the more confusing bits. Like I don't know if this is catching on threads or if this is threading between the plastic and the grommet. Yeah, see, it's threading between the plastic and the grommet. Like there's no indication that this is catching the threads in the frame itself. This is one of the more difficult parts about this. You need to just like kind of pull up on it. And in the process you might be stripping it out, but I think I might have actually just gotten it. And like now that it's together, like you're just kind of trapped. Like this is tough, man. These builds are kind of brutal. But man, having HD on a Tiny Whoop is a hell of a thing, if I'm honest. So it's kind of worth the frustration, I think. I keep telling myself that, at least. Okay, I think this is done. This flight controller is fresh out of the box, so it's not bound, it's not anything. And quite honestly, after the fight with getting these grommets in and some of this other stuff, I don't have the patience for it. So I'm going to get this configured on my time. I've done configuration so much that there's really nothing left to talk about. I'm not going to configure this any different than any other AIO or flight controller. So yeah, standard Ciotti setup is going to go on this, and then we are going to fly it on Sunday's stream. So I'll try to get it all configured and up in the air tomorrow. Unless I'm just ultra lazy, and then we'll do it on Sunday's stream. But for the rest of your Friday night, you can go hang with Bot and watch some people ripping, and I'm gonna go hang out with the family. Morton Upshot says you can't drop the UFL down through the canopy. You cannot. The camera takes up that space. There's not enough room for the UFL cable to fit through there, unfortunately. Okay. Last motor getting plugged in. I'm going to try this rig on the 802 27,000s as well. But for right now, these 1002 23.5s were sitting in this frame, so what the hell. Hopefully this battery lead is long enough. It looks like it will be. And what we can do now is get a weight, which is one of the things that I've been dying to know. What will this setup weigh in at? All right, pull those guys down and out, cross them over. There it is, yo. That is a 1002 23,500 kV Walksnail 75mm rig with the jankiest antenna I've ever seen. The worst antenna setup ever, but it's probably fine. Just wobble around a little bit. Here we go. For comparison, let's weigh the 65 rig. I mean, this is really kind of as light as you're going to be able to do a 75mm Walksnail rig, I think. And my 65 rig, I think, is about as lightweight as you can do that. So this is kind of a great comparison point here. So the 65mm rig... Oh, I don't have... Well, I have the tri-blades. No, this is not as light as you can do it, come to think of it. Not even close. The 65mm rig is 25.2 grams. This big boy is 35.4. Good God, that's a big difference. So, yeah, that's heavy. 35.5 is very heavy. It's heavier because 1002s, tri-blades, the heavier camera, and the heavier VTX. So, kind of everything is heavier. Jesus. I mean, it'll have plenty of power, but for what I'm primarily doing with these things, I don't really need the extra power, so yeah. That's interesting. I wish it was lighter and had less power, which I will do when I move it over to 1002s. But yeah, this is heavy. But again, this is the VTX with the heatsink. This is the big fat ass camera. I think I would save more than 3 grams by putting this on the proper light setup with the light VTX and the light camera on it, which we will do once this thing goes into the fractal frame. Right now, this is an experiment to see basically how this thing is outside. Like, what would this be like banging around on jungle gyms is kind of the thought process right now. Plus, this was just get it built kind of thing. I didn't have another one of the, like, I had this VTX and camera, so why not throw it into something, right? Just kind of getting these wires a little bit cleaned up here. So yeah, don't judge this fatty by the fattiness. I can pretty easily pull 4 grams off this, I think. But yeah, there it is. It's technically finished. Sorry that we're not gonna tune it and all that good shit and see it fly. But yeah, I want to scream, and I'm hungry, and yeah. So there it is, yo. 65 and 75. 2 Walksnail Tiny Whoops. What a time to be alive. I'm going to send you out of here on some more flying from yesterday. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for all the support. CiottiFPV.com is how you can support the insanity that is attempting to do FPV full time. Patreon helps me out the most, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff there going on. So help your boy out. Let me, we'll hang out. I got sticker packs too. If you want CiottiFPV stickers, message me, and I'll get you all hooked up. So logo and Matt, Gangly Gang and Matt, Micro King and Matt. Logo and holographic. This is such a cool looking sticker. Gangly Gang and holographic. Micro King window cling, no adhesive. Yeah, message me if you want some stickers. Let me know what you want, and I'll hook you up. Cool. Thanks for hanging, friends. Sorry for the low energy right now. I'm just, I'm very frustrated from that build, so I'm just trying not to scream as loud as I can. Here comes some flying with some Epidemic Sounds music. I hope you like it. Hopefully it's not a tip. See you Sunday! Come on, kill the subtitles. Here we go, here we go. Here we go. We're going. See you Sunday.